Buddy, Matt Bernier, joined by DRS National Handicapper Mike Watchmaker. We're taking a look at this weekend's Weekend Warrior. Saturday, June the 3rd. You've got all sorts of good turf racing all over the country. A couple races for 3-year-olds. Let's start off at Penn National, race number 9. It is the Grade 2 Penn Mile for 3-year-olds, a mile on the turf course. You have plenty of names in here, Mike. You're most interested in a horse trying turf for the first time, but well bred for it. It's time to travel.
Right, Matt. Maybe I'm staying too long with this horse, but I like Time to Travel in his last two starts. He was a warrior pick in the Lexington, and he really didn't make use of his speed that day. But still, the pace was kind of strong, and he held on much better than all the other pace horses did, finishing fourth in that race. And I wrote an internet piece on how he was sort of the key to my undercard plays on Preakness Day in the Sir Barton. And he ran okay, finishing second. He was 3 wide around the first turn, and he fought gamely down the stretch. He really had no excuse not getting the job done. I mean, the reason why I've fallen for this horse is because he came out of 2 really loaded maiden races at Gulfstream in his first 2 career starts. The first of which was won by Timeline, who of course came back to win his next start by the length of the stretch at Aqueduct with a 101 Beyer figure, and then followed with a victory in the Peter Pan, and then Time to Travel galloped in his second start. And he crushed Meantime that day, who came back to air in his next start and was a game second in the Peter Pan as a candidate for the Belmont Stakes. So he's kept good company, but now he's moving to the turf for the first time. And Time to Travel is not only out of Like a Gem, who's a multiple stakes winner on the turf, but he's a full brother to Hard Not to Like, who earned over $1 million on the turf, was a Grade 1 stakes winner in New York when she won the Diana, Grade 1 stakes winner in Kentucky when she won the Jenny Wiley, and Grade 1 stakes winner in California when she won the Gately. This is probably the surface that Time to Travel's really cut out for, and I have to stick with him at least one more time.
Yeah, an interesting spot for the turf debut, particularly because this rendition of this race, the Penn Mile, you've got new shooters and fresh faces from all over the place, particularly from the West Coast. You've got Sistrong coming in for John Sadler. You've also got Big Score coming in, and I should say he's already been on the East Coast. He ran the American Turf in the Transylvania his past 2 starts, but Tim Yakteen keeps him out here. Javier's got the mount. Anybody else in this race do anything for you?
Well, I think Big Score is absolutely 100% the horse to beat in this race. His 2 races this year, including his stakes win in the Transylvania, in his 3-year-old bout, were really solid performances. They were better from a speed figure standpoint than his races last year at 2 were, and he was pretty darn good at 2. So he's obviously made the transition from 2 to 3, which you don't always see with juvenile turf horses, one of which we might talk about in the next video that we do. But, I think he's absolutely the horse to beat. There's plenty of speed in this race, one of them being Time to Travel. Big Score is a closer. He's going to be a hard horse to handle here.
Race number 9, Penn National. It's the marquee sort of card for Penn National throughout the course of the year. It is the $500,000 Penn Mile for 3-year-olds. It's a Grade 2. Mike, going to go with Time to Travel for Michael Matz and Edgar Prado. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the second race for this weekend's Weekend Warrior, another turf race for 3-year-olds, the Pennine Ridge at Belmont.